Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. I'm back on the Cresentola and the governor. And when you rebuild a motor, you want to make sure that it'll wind up. You don't hear any spring noises. And the problem I think in this is the governor, but the motor, we can crank the motor up like this. And I'm getting tension on the springs. And then you can just hold your finger on the gear and let it run down like that. And that's good power. But you always want to crank one up first. So when I notice the governor, I say we have to do a rebuild. I'll rebuild the governor, previous video, put it all back together and see if it runs. Then if it's done, we just tear everything down, clean everything up, and it's all back running. But what happened was, you see here on the governor end bearing, which fits here, you see how it stops and we have a little gap right there? See the little gap? We have the edge, and then we have the pinion coming out, and it goes in, and it's pivoting smoothly. On the other end, we have these wonderful little pieces that come on some aftermarket motors. And when you put it in here, it bottoms out. Now what that does, when you put this all together like this, it shoves the governor this way so it's not riding in the position halfway in here and halfway on the spindle drive gear for the governor. So what I found out was, because these are interesting, you see this little indentation right here? That holds that little 1/16 inch ball bearing. And if my brain is right, I think that's the same one that runs on a Victor orthophonic reproducer, the little ball bearings that go in there. So how do we make sure that that ball bearing doesn't fall out on reassembly? Well, it's really easy. We're going to take the little ball bearing and we're going to drop it in the hole. And now what we're going to do, we're just going to cover the end of the bearing like this with some STP motor oil, because it's really thick and it doesn't run away on you. Yeah, we filled that up. That's good. So now what you would do is you would insert this brass piece here, like that. The nut is a 1/2 inch. Tighten that up a little. You make sure that the square piece is in this slot system. You can see we still have the STP in there. Now we'll insert the governor main drive piece. We will push this through. What I've done is I've slid it all the way over toward me, because this piece moves back and forth. And now it's going to now you'll step the other bearing in. Feely. Because there we go. Now it's in. Now you come back. There we go. Now you come back. You see how that spins freely? Now you want to check to make sure that the flywheel is not hitting the governor drive gear that's on the spindle shaft right here. So you just move this back a little. You'll tighten this gear up, this screw right here in the back. Now all you'll do is move the spindle shaft. Tighten this up. Now you'll hold that in place and you'll snug up the nut. Watching out for that gear. Give it a spin. Oh, it popped out. There we go. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the gear threads on the spindle shaft in here, and I'm trying to get them aligned. There we go. And now what you have to do is kind of play back and forth and adjust this. You'll get this set in, everything will spin, and then we'll fire this up and see if it runs. If it does run, there's no real spring problems, which I really doubt. Tear it down, rebuild the spring barrels, flex hone everything, you'd be good to go. And that's my tip for the day.